It's our connection, and welcome to the most extreme menage a trois of violence you'll ever experience here on the Extreme Three-Way Dance. We're taking you through the history of Extreme Championship Wrestling. We started February 1994, and tonight we're going to wrap February of 2000 as we're down the home stretch of ECW history. And of course, this podcast is simulcast, both video and audio on all podcast applications except those losers at Spotify, and video here on our YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to. A lot of cool content. This is a busy stretch of wrestling in WWE and beyond. But we do previews of pretty much every match that hits a PLE, Saturday's main event, or any other major show. We also have live post shows going on. Those are all on our YouTube channel. They get simulcasted over audio. So subscribe now, especially going into SummerSlam. A lot of cool stuff that we're covering here at the No So. And also going on is our tribute to the year 1995 called No So 95. We are talking all things wrestling, pop culture, sports, and beyond, paying tribute to the year that is now 30 years in our past. And a couple cool things I'll point out. I think probably will be dropping soon by the time this hits. Aaron and I have another No Holds Barred coming with our 95 rebook series. We're covering the build to SummerSlam 95 and that show as well. So basically In Your House 2 and SummerSlam coming off King of the Ring. And Jenny, why don't you tell us about the Ultimate Mixtape draft that dropped on July the 4th?
So a couple of us got together and we decided that we needed to draft some songs from 1995 and create a playlist. So that's what we did. Maddie, you're on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. You know, there's so much to choose from that year. I think Keithy had the most emo. So if you're into drafts and music from 1995, you'll love it. It's great.
Make sure you listen to both times that This Is How We Do It was drafted.
Spoilers.
There's a song worthy of being drafted twice.
That is true.
So be sure to check it out, and then definitely add the Spotify list. I guess I hate to plug Spotify.
I know,
we'll make
I know,
Apple
I was
Music
like,
versions.
Yeah.
I'll
I
make
can't
some Apple
believe
Music versions.
Justin let us put this shit on Spotify.
It's all right. It's all right. I'll make some Apple Music versions of the lists, and we'll have them for all. So we won't discriminate like the folks at Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So anyway, check all that out. Subscribe, share, love, like, do it all. We enjoy it. We enjoy you. We thank you. We love you. All right. Let's get into our show tonight. We're covering our usual 3 episodes of ECW television. We're going to kick things off with ECW on TNN from February 25th, 2000. We open inside the Eagle's Nest. Joey Styles and Joel Gertner are with us, and Joey says we are on the air 1 minute early. So we're apologizing to all those that set their VCRs. They're going to miss this 1 minute early lead here. But Cyrus is in the ring. And, of course, he's stalking. The crowd is chanting for Rob Van Dam. Cyrus says he's under a lot of pressure from the network, and sometimes in life, people like him have to make decisions for people like the fans. We get a very loud "you're a bitch" chant as he says TNN can't have the TV title on the shelf for 12 weeks. And when the whole effing show breaks his whole effing leg, they find themselves with no effing show. Steve Corino, Rhino, and Jack Victory head out as Cyrus says he's made an executive decision, and the network has decided he can appoint a brand new television champion. The crowd boos. Cyrus says they'll make history as TNN, and Cyrus hand the TV title to Rhino. Joey says this is a bad precedent. Cyrus says it's only fair as Rhino is the man last in the ring with RVD, has destroyed people left and right, and ratings are through the roof for him. Tonight, we'll have the TV title brought to him to hand to Rhino, and Paul Heyman himself will be told to carry out the belt. Joey says the TNN ECW relationship is about to explode, and Cyrus says Heyman can do something useful for the first time in 6 years and bring him a coffee while he's at it. Cyrus keeps calling for Heyman, tells him to put down his donut, bring out the coffee and the belt, and then out comes Heyman with the belt to loud cheers and glares all around. We think it's our opening animation, and we'll continue the segment in a moment, Jenny, but what did you think of kind of the cold open here before the 1 minute early open?
Oh, they were coming in hot this episode. Cyrus, again, just killing it. Would I be so bold as to agree with the network in that we can't just not have a champion for this long? So, look, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. So, we got to do something. He does not have to be such a dick to Paul Lee, but it is quite funny. And then Paul E, bless his heart, looks like absolute shit.
Yeah.
He looks like he's been stressed out big time for a little bit. Why is he wearing a giant leather jacket?
That's his gimmick. I don't know. It's an odd choice for sure.
Yeah.
He loves that jacket.
He looks really bad, but it really helps with this segment. I thought this was really fun. Open, Maddie.
Yeah, it looks like he hasn't slept in like a month and a half, and with all the shit that's been going
He probably
on.
had it. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I
probably
kind of
feeling
get
it.
it. But the poor people who are watching like fucking Bill Dance's fishing adventures or something had their show cut in 1 minute early for fucking TNN. Those poor bastards. God bless them. They had to deal with that. But
What a pull!
so that was very. We 1 minute early. It's like you should probably schedule that beforehand for this. Kind of like they were saying, "Oh, your VCR just fucked you. You're not going to see the very beginning." It's like, whoops. Like I don't know. You should probably
Next time, just catch the end of Grooney and the Keith.
Don't worry, you'll see the replays on Hardcore TV for the next 8 weeks.
Yeah,
so.
but I continue to love that they are just putting all the heat on the fucking network. Like it's so smart and it's such a shrewd move to just like, hey, this sucks. So you know what else sucks? The network. So this is going to be their problem. Fucking boo them. So I love it. I think it's smart.
Yeah, like we talked about too. It's a good way to get the belt off RVD. Yes, you lose the ability to put someone over. We talked about this in our last episode, right? You lose the ability to put someone over,
right,
to end the reign. But odds are it probably would have been kind of a disappointment. So, like, if you can get the belt off RVD without him losing, get him back, and then ramp him for the world title, and then hopefully they can maybe get back to Awesome and RVD or whatever, if that's the plan. They get the belt off of RVD and it adds some additional heat into the mix. So, all right. After opening animation, we return. Paul Heyman's down the ring. Cyrus welcomes him in. He wants to know where his coffee is. Cyrus says he knew when he joined the company a year ago that one day Heyman would be doing whatever he says. And it looks like Paul's corporate rebel image is falling apart. Heyman's clutching the TV title. It's a little over the top. He's quivering and looking around. Cyrus says, he says, Cyrus says he knows Heyman doesn't want to sell out RVD, but he's going to make him do it anyway. Cyrus says Paul is going to bend over for the network in front of everyone on TNN, and Cyrus is here to see it, and he'll sell out the precious RVD, and he'll love it. Paul stalks around the ring with the belt as Cyrus is berating him. Heyman says he isn't going to fucking do it, but Cyrus keeps pushing and pushing, saying, give it to me, Paul, just over and over. And Paul finally turns and decks him with the belt. Rhino comes in and gores Heyman. Cyrus starts to beat on him. Enter Sandman hits. In comes Sandman through the crowd. Paul rolls out to safety as everyone stops to watch Sandman in the fans, which, I don't know. We talked about that, the goofiness of like Sandman's ridiculous entrances and these saves. And everyone stands and watches them. They could have gotten another 5 minutes of beatdown up Heyman. Yeah. But I guess whatever. They all turn to look at Sandman. But so it looks like, Paul may give in, but isn't sure going to give in, but we don't know because he got gored. But as of now, we're kind of leaving with a little bit of a cliffhanger on Paul, Maddie.
I love that Cyrus said his corporate rebel image is disappearing when we just said he looks like he hasn't slept in 6 weeks. Now his image is disappearing. Like, if anything, he's becoming more of a rebel, for fuck's sake.
Right.
But the gore was something. It was more of a shoulder tackle.
Shove.
A shove, a shoulder tackle. It was like that shoulder throw that John Cena does every match.
Yes.
It was kind of like that. Not exactly a gore, but... And if there's a silver lining to this whole RVD situation, they got very lucky that RVD snapped his leg in the match with Rhino, because then they can use Rhino and pump him up even more, saying he's the guy who took out RVD.
And he's probably the perfect choice. Like I think if we would have had to
100%.
pick someone to beat Van Dam in the ring,
right?
I think Rhino would have been probably at least top 2 on our list, if not number 1.
Right.
So it's the right guy to push through this.
It's rare luck that ECW has had that it happened in a match, because if it was against like fucking Bill Wiles or something, it wouldn't have fucking worked nearly as well,
Yeah, they would have found some way around it. They would have said,
I'm sure they would have,
or something. They would have came up with some bullshit.
But it's just very lucky that this storyline basically fell into their lap with it. Yeah. So, but it was a really good segment, and again, the Sandman taking 37 minutes to help out his alleged friends. God help us all. But this is really good, Jenny.
Y'all be hating on the Sandman. I don't give a shit. I love it. He can do it every single time, and he does do it every single time, and it always hits. But yeah, I loved Rhino just taking it so soft on Paulie. It's pretty funny.
It's not like Paulie's like old, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of weird that they went so soft on him. Like, he's taking bigger bumps 30 years later or whatever now, like 25 years later than he does then. I mean, he's not that old or pro, unless he was injured or something. But
I thought it was oddly sweet on Rhino's part.
Bobby Heenan with a broken neck took harder bumps than
Right.
60-year-old Bobby Heenan or whatever in 1990. Hogan whipping him around the cage.
What else was I gonna say? Oh, Cyrus just egging him on, just come on, Paul, give it to me, Paul. And you're like, please hit this bitch in the mouth. But all this
They
was
picked,
like
they had picked the perfect person for that too.
Absolutely,
For
yes.
Cyrus to rep the network was
100%.
like the best choice.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, all this stuff is like hitting way more than I would imagine it would, given the way that people have spoken to me about the year 2000 in ECW.
Look, Rocco Martone swears by this year, so we're seeing it play out. It's been very good. It's been as Frank Sinatra said, very good year. All right, we take a break. We come back. Sandman's finally to the railing. He's chugging and pouring beers for the fans, and we're gonna have a match. It looks like Sandman versus Rhino. Joel says Sandman hit every brewery in Wisconsin earlier, and that's where we are, is Milwaukee. And then chugged another 6-pack backstage. Joey says TNN wants Rhino as TV champion as he's standing in the corner. Sandman gets in the ring and dodges a charge. Carino grabs the cane, and Rhino knocks him down and stomps away. Rhino shoots Sandman to the floor. Sandman comes hammering back at him, chucks him off the stage. Sandman fetches a ladder from backstage and brings it to ringside. Rhino stops him with punches and shoots him back in the ring. Rhino sets the ladder up in the corner, but Sandman drives him into the steel and whips him into it again. Joey says RVD is not blaming Rhino for the injury, but he's bound to get taken out at some point. Sandman dumps Rhino outside, scoops up a table and slams it on him. Sandman shoves the table inside, but Rhino clobbers him with right hands. Sandman recovers and throws Rhino to the railing, shoves him in the ring and puts a ladder on him and barrels into it with a slingshot senton. Joey says nobody's sober or whatever, try that, which is pretty funny. Sandman sets the table in the corner and the ladder across from it, but Rhino clubs him down, peppers and strikes. Sandman turns the tide, lays in some chops, follows with a top rope Rana, which Joel calls the Rolling Rock, and Joey says it's the Heineken Rana. Victory hooks Sandman from the apron, and he ducks, and Rhino decks Victory. Sandman takes out Carino with the Russian leg sweep, and then canes Rhino, but Tajiri's in and missed Sandman for the DQ. Rhino gores Sandman through the table, but in comes Super Crazy, and he cleans house. So it was a pretty fun match. The crowd was very hot for all of it. Nonstop pacing. Good chaotic finish as well with the ECW network war heating up. And a good way to twist reality, then we talk about this every week now, into the world that they built on screen. So Matt went 2.5. There's a pretty typical televised Sandman brawl. And it's also, I guess, a match we didn't see Guilty as Charged as well.
Yeah, and that was pretty much my thought on it, was that it was the fairly, standard TNN type of brawl. Glad to see Sandman wrestle a match, because he hadn't done that in a long fucking time, I feel like. So that was refreshing to see, so that was good. But the finish was a little weird, too. Like, it was almost like a no contest, or dare I say, a fucking DQ. Like, I don't know what exactly we're doing there, but when we've seen, chaos happen in matches and they don't call it off. So apparently mist is the one thing banned in ECW. Who knew? But it was a perfectly fine brawl. I kind of want to see kind of like what we were supposed to get at Guilty as Charged, a pay-per-view type of match between these two, because I think that could be really fun. But as it was, this was pretty fun, but I think they're definitely capable of more. So 2.5 for me, Jenny.
That sounds to me like you're disappointed, Maddie. And I kind of was too. And I felt like commentary is trying to they always talk about Sandman being drunk, but I feel like they were kind of really laying it on thick here. So I'm like, is that the reason why this is kind of meh? Is something going on with Sandman, for real? But I like the ladder. I like the tables. I just feel like we were missing. I didn't even hear the bell ring to start the match, and then we fucked up at the end. I'm like, okay, this was kind of not really a match though. So maybe that's why I'm giving it a little grace. I just wanted something a little bit more. Rhino can be more badass than this. Sandman can do more than this. So hopefully it's just the opening part of a longer series, and we get maybe some hotter matches from them. I like the Super Crazy run in, and so I did 2.5 as well, but a little more disappointing though.
And I think Crazy could be a good addition as well because they kind of need another face, because we talked about Tommy's kind of in between feuds, and RVD can't obviously do much. So they don't really have that in-ring kind of avatar right now for ECW in the war with TNN besides besides Dreamer, but he's got Raven as well. So this is, I think, Crazy is a good choice because he's insane. Joel narrates the OneWrestling.com replay, which shows everything that happened earlier and gives you a virus immediately after. Joey and Joel then reset in the nest. Joey stops from going too far and says Rhino claims he broke RVD's leg, even though that isn't the truth. Backstage, Danny Doring is ranting about some excuses to Roadkill, seemingly about Elektra not making the flight out, and says he's good looking enough to get any woman. They stumble into the Dupps, who are being gross as always. Jack says they're the chicken porker and a guy that needs a girl to get over. Doring says Bo picks his ass, Jack picks his nose, and they're the ones telling him how to get over. Doring says they need to get the Dupps in the ring for a loser leaves ECW match. Jack spits in his hand and wants to shake, but the Conda says never touch the dastardly one. Roadkill refuses the shake as well, says chicken, and Bo is now hungry for chicken. Very random. I'm guessing the Dupps were deciding to head out.
That's a shame.
Real rush. Loser leaves ECW. I don't know where they go. We'll have to look it up because they don't.
Hopefully away.
Well, they don't show up in TNA until 02 when TNA starts. So I don't know where they go in between this. Any thoughts on the segment?
Not particularly for me. It was whatever.
What I'm hearing is we're not going to see the Dupps anymore.
That's what
No, they actually go to WWE as a developmental.
Oh, God.
They work a little bit on Jacked, and they're there till 01, mostly feuding with the Mean Street Posse in developmental. And then they show up in TNA. So
it was like the Midnights and the Rock and Roll Express, I'm sure, those matches.
And, of course, Matt, do you know who Stand Up will eventually become?
I don't think I do, no.
It is Trevor Murdoch.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So there you go.
Does he stay with WWE that whole time, or does he leave?
No, they go to TNA, they bounce around, then he goes back in 08. But he's not even really, I feel like he hasn't been on as much here. It's mainly been Jack and Bo, but so that's why they're leaving. Is to head to WWE developmental, apparently. Got a deal. So.
It was just very random. It's just like, hey,
totally.
and then it ran into each other. Hey, loser leaves town. Okay. And then it's the very next match.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you knew something came up the way that happened. Yeah. Like either they pissed someone off and got fired and they retconned the loser leaves town thing.
Something came up, you might say.
Yeah. Something changed up. To the ring we go for that loser leaves town. Danny Doring and Roadkill taking on to Dupps. The Dupps hit the ring for the loser leaves ECW match, followed by Doring and Roadkill. We take a break. We come back. The Dupps attack. They drive Roadkill to the floor. They double up on the Conda, who ducks a clothesline. Roadkill mashes the Dupps, which I have misspelled as the Dips, which is pretty funny. Springboard clothesline. The Dips. Pretty nasty. Doring follows with a G-spot sweep, and then we get the heart attack. Doring shoots Roadkill into both the Dips with an avalanche and hits the bareback on Bo. Doring and Roadkill hit the finisher. The Dupps are cooked. Squash shitty. Perfect way to do it. Roadkill and Doring are on a heater. If these guys are leaving anyway, just let them get whacked and head out the door. So half star for me, Jenny. Just kind of a way to get the Dupps out.
Yeah, I would rather maybe do like some sort of skit or some sort of backstage beatdown or something else other than this dumbass match. Them out. I mean, just I don't know. I feel like we could have come up with something better. I mean, not that they deserve a lot, but Doring and Roadkill are pretty great. So I don't know. I would have given them something else to do here. I mean, it was hot. Like the crowd likes Doring and Roadkill a lot. So I gave it half a star for the crowd. Maddie.
Yeah, I went half a star on it too. To your point, the crowd loves Doring and Roadkill, and that really helped this squash along. But I mean, it was a complete and total squash. The Dips, whatever you want to call them, they're done for. So good riddance. We hardly knew ye, and now they go to developmental to wrestle the Mean Street Posse, Barn Burners, Hachi Machi.
When Bo dips and dips, Jack dips.
Wow. Hoofa.
Joey plugs some fan-submitted sizzling, sexy photos of the women of ECW on the website, and then Joel hypes the magazine. Joey says, inside the newest magazine is an inside look at Hardcore Revolution, the video game. Tommy Dreamer's out solo after a break. He has a mic. Tommy asks if Milwaukee is WCW country, gets some booze, then asks if it's WWF country, gets more booze, and that means it's ECW country. He says this is the first time in Milwaukee, so they should end the soap opera, finish things, and brings out Raven, However, it is Francine instead that emerges. She says she knows Tommy's defending her honor and trying to protect her, and that's nice. But she saw the tape and knows that Raven DDT'd her by accident. Tommy doesn't buy that one, but Francine says he was blinded and grabbed the first person he could, and it was all just an accident. So Fran tells Tommy, drop the attitude. You get a stupid puppies chant. Francine says Tommy's not motivated or focused. And does he know all Francine has done in ECW has been manage a world champion, a TV champion, and the tag team champions, and help Tommy Dreamer win his first gold. Joel says it's at that time of the month as we revisit the Raven DDT while the Impact players head to the ring. Justin Credible tells Dreamer to chill out, says they are just here to watch the argument in the ring. Joel is excited that Dawn likes to watch. Tommy says maybe we can bring their slut in the ring and show her fake tits to give everyone else something to watch. Tommy says he's had enough problems, but if either of them want to fight, he will fight right now because he doesn't give a fuck. Storm says they are tag team champions, which means they're a team. So if Tommy wants to find his fat ass a partner, they can have a tag title shot so they can kick his ass again. Tommy says there's 300 sick hardcore bastards out here, and he'll pick anyone in the audience to be his partner. Tommy says they're pussies and not tough enough to fight anyone from Milwaukee. Dawn grabs the mic and Poppy, she calls Dreamer Thomas, and tells her to put on Francine's skirts, and she's the one that wears the pants in their relationship. Francine calls her a bitch and says the match will be the Impact players versus Tommy Dreamer and Raven for the tag team titles. So before we get to the match, Jenny, what did you think of this segment featuring Thomas Dreamer?
I love her saying Thomas. That is such a Jenny move. And I thought Francine was amazing in this. She looks amazing. She's spitting facts to Tommy. She seems like she's just tired of his shit, mostly. Like I feel like Shane and others highlighted Francine in as a woman and as a manager. Tommy Dreamer doesn't really do that much. So I feel like she is getting more appreciation and feeling more connected to Raven than she is with Tommy now. And she deserves all the respect. She has been a fixture on this promotion for years and years. She's amazing. Also, I thought Tommy Dreamer called Dawn Marie a slut instead of a slut. And I thought that is brutal. And kind of an amazing put down if you think about it.
I mean, he may have.
Either way, yeah. I mean,
I kind of like that word now. So I might start using that. I do hate the stupid players, but it is pretty fun that they come out and they're like, hey, we're just trying to watch the drama. Chill out, Tommy Dreamer. Yeah, I liked all this. It gives me sort of old school Raven and Dreamer vibes, with Beulah and shit like that. So I thought this was well done. I liked it, Maddie.
Yeah, that was what you just said was kind of my main point through this whole thing, is that this feels like old school Raven, and we'll talk about it in a bit. Kind of extends to the match too, which we'll get to, but it feels like 96 Raven Dreamer just fucking mind games and screwing around with each other, and it took a long fucking time to get there with this feud, but I'm glad we got there. So that's the negative, is that it took 6 months to get to this point. Had they done this from the start, I think it would have been really good, but you take what you can get at this point. Dreamer basically doing the Scott Hall survey says thing at the beginning of this promo was very weird, considering they hate WCW like poison. Just a weird thing to pull from them. Hey-o. So that was a little weird, but it is very good. So, I mean, I can't hate it that much, and the crowd was red hot for it, especially when Dreamer called him a bunch of sick bastards in Milwaukee or whatever it was. He said the crowd just lost their shit for that, so that was cool. So that definitely helped what was already a good segment anyway. So I'm curious to see where this goes. Again, it took a long time to get to this point, but finally we're at a point where I could say I want to see what happens next with this whole thing.
I wonder if Silas Young was in the crowd chanting him on.
That's right.
They have done a good job getting that old Raven, bringing back that Raven feeling. I didn't think it would be doable in 2000 to kind of recapture that with how much has changed, but they've done a pretty good job with touching on it in a different way, right? He didn't just come back and pick right back up with Tommy as a feud. We've bitched a little bit sometimes with the pacing of this, but it's been pretty good if you look at where they've gotten and where they've come to. And I think it was done organically enough. And they let Raven work his way back into game shape a little bit as part of it, which has helped. So it might have been slow at times, but I think some of that patience paid off and the effectiveness. And through that, they've allowed Fran to kind of, develop this piece of it as well. So
I don't know how much game shape he is when he comes to the ring later. So.
better than he was probably in October.
Yeah, he looked kind of rough.
Well, it is tag title time. Joel says it looks like Fran is a mouthpiece for Raven. As the Impact players jump Tommy and beat him down with a double team until Raven's music hits. Credible has dark jorts on, and it feels very off-putting and weird. Like the only Justin Credible I know is with the light jorts. The dark, it's like someone Cena would randomly change the pants. He would stick with it for like 8 or 9 months at a time, but it was always kind of weird at first to see him in the different color. And that's how I felt here to see Credible in the dark torch was odd. Raven's in street clothes. He slides in. Joey thought the partnership with Tommy was over, but I guess not because he's cleaning house. He jams a snot rag in Credible's face. Raven ducks a Storm super kick and nails Credible. He DDT Storm, but Credible saves. Credible plants Raven with That's Incredible, but Tommy makes a save and chucks Credible to the floor. Tommy follows Credible and chucks him into the crowd. Tommy beats him around through the fans as Raven and Storm are throwing haymakers. Storm hits a low blow as Dreamer drags Credible to the balcony. Raven recovers and drives Storm into a chair with a drop toe hold as Tommy knocks Credible out of the balcony to the floor. He walks him through the crowd. Raven shoves a chair between the ropes and throws Storm into it. Tommy breaks off a row of connected seats, slides it in the ring to Raven. They work together to set it up. Joey thinks Tommy's making a mistake in giving Raven another chance to turn on him, but Joel says Raven will not break his word to Francine. Tommy and Raven hit stereo drop toe holds onto the champs. They smash into the open seats. Raven has a seat to regroup, and the champs are laying there dead. Raven throws Credible hard to the floor, slugs away as Tommy loads up a table in the ring. Raven shoots Credible over the top, outside, and follows. Storm has recovered and sets up a table in the ring, but Dreamer stops him, puts Storm on the top rope. Raven canes Credible on the floor as Tommy spikes Storm through the table to Spicoli driver off the middle rope in a great-looking spot. Dawn makes a save. Francine comes in. We get the cat fight. Out comes the still unnamed James Vandenberg. He has a red suit on. Dawn gets her foot up on a Bronco Buster, and Francine takes a hard shot to the slot and crumbles. Vandenberg hands powder to Raven as Tommy loads Dawn for a pile driver. Raven spins Storm around and throws. This is why you got to watch on YouTube for the reaction shot. Raven spins YouTube around and tosses the powder. Storm ducks and Tommy takes a direct hit to the eyes. Fran checks on Tommy, but just like Raven did, Tommy's blinded and DDTs Francine. Raven checks on her and carries her to the back. Vandenberg's cackling. Tommy gives it a go, but the Impact players double up and finish him off with a stuffed tombstone pile driver on a chair to retain. Fun match. These guys get some really good chemistry. The storyline works for me. I like the extreme mega powers with Francine playing Miss Elizabeth and Raven. I'm guessing Raven Savage, but I think it works well. The friendship cycles to the rivalry, back to being friends. The players win this by attrition and roll on as champs. 3 stars for me, Jenny. I think, and that's like a strong 3. You know what I mean? Like for what they had for time and what it was. I thought it over delivered with the crowd heat and with the excitement. I'm really curious how Vandenberg works into this. I didn't realize he was like this tied into Raven.
Neither did I.
So we'll see how it goes, but it was an interesting twist to have him out there as well.
Yes, I'm just going to call him James Mitchell. So, and what you mean is 3.25. So that's what I gave this match. I loved this. Like this felt again that same throwback style. A cool crowd brawl. I love that. Credible really does bump around really good. He is perfect for this, and I think him and Tommy in particular have a lot of chemistry in the ring. Poor Raven, though, I don't like him in that outfit. He did not look good. Why are you so? I don't know. Why are you? Just why? Just why, Raven? I love bringing in the whole row of seats as a weapon, and then the double drop toe hold on that. That was pretty cool. Scully Driver is really cool. The cat fight was sexy as hell. And I like the finish, except for I like the the James Mitchell powder situation, and then poor Tommy, he's like, "Oh yeah, never mind." So I'm presently surprised about all of this, really, and how it's going, and I wish it was on hardcore TV. Maddie.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. I went 3 1/4 on this too, and to your point, this was closer to what I wanted out of this feud. This felt like some of those 96 tags with like Raven and Brian Lee versus, I don't know, Dreamer and Funk or something like that. It didn't quite hit those highs, but it was closer to that, which is what I wanted out of this feud from the start. Raven looking like a fucking cameraman for a news crew. It's just not a good look for him, to Jenny's point. Like, real rough. Like, Raven should look like a roadie for Pearl Jam. He shouldn't look like he's holding a fucking camera for him, you know? It's just not a good look. But like James Mitchell too, I still don't know why he's here, but I kind of don't care because he's fucking entertaining as hell, you know? So it's a very fun match. And yeah, the finish was sick with the spike pile driver on the chair. Everybody, like, the finisher fest at the beginning was really fun too, and kind of unexpected. That was fun. So yeah, fun stuff here. 3 1/4.
Yeah, Mitchell, he's got some Cyrus in him where it's like a really good talker, kind of underrated, lost in the shuffle in a bigger promotion with a lot of guys, and could like kind of excel here with giving a little creative freedom to be a maniac, which is what we get because we're out on the loading dock to end the show, and he's sitting alone in a chair. Says, "Far be it from me to stir the pot," but he wants to dive into a situation where Raven DDT'd Francine. He had powder in his eyes, but when Tommy did it, he had fire in his. And says things are starting to get very, very deep, and then we get a very long cackle as we fade out. Anyway, we'll see if he recaps all of our episodes going forward, but.
Where the hell was he?
He was at the bottom of an empty swimming pool.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he's on the loading dock of the arena.
No, it's the bottom of a swimming pool. That's why he said dive in.
Oh, was it really? There must have been one at the arena. Maybe there was like a local public pool or something.
Because they kind of like slowly pull back on the shot, and then you get to see the swimming pool. And it has trash and shit all in the bottom.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was like to take a loading dock.
I decorated myself.
It looks like the Grinch's lair.
I love him. I don't care. It's like Kevin Sullivan energy for me. So.
Yeah, for sure. I can see it.
Best match, I went with the main event, Dreamer Raven versus the Impact Players. Worst match was the Dupps squash.
Yeah.
Best moment, I went with Heyman slugging Cyrus in that opening segment.
I might go with the James Mitchell promo at the
end. The gore? No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
Most 2000 is more a little bit 90s, but it is still in the early 2000s. Setting your VCR on time at the beginning of the program.
Also, did I see a sign that said "John Rucker is my hero"?
You did.
That
see
would be
that.
very 99 2000. Yes.
You did see that, yeah.
Although it's also very 2025. He's been popping off as well.
Oh, good.
Won't go away.
Gross.
I'm sitting in my swimming pool filled with the blood of the Audad. We're gonna cross podcasts.
You need a lot of Audads to fill a swimming pool. Fuck.
Stock rising. Heyman, Cyrus, Doring and Roadkill, Dreamer, Francine, Raven. All of it was good.
Yeah,
all of it was.
Stock falling. Just TNN just catching a beating over and over every week. And the Dupps on their way out the door.
The Dupps are dipping. Yeah. More ways than one.
The Dupps are dumping.
7.5 out of 10 for me. A very good, nice episode of TV. TNN is set the bar high. This is like way back on PTB. We used to do like something. We do different drafts. We did like the wrestling TV draft, where you get the entire library. I don't know if this would even get picked, but I think like looking back, I don't think I realized just how strong a lot of these episodes were. Even when we started, wherever 8 months ago on these TNNs, whatever it is now, like. I wouldn't have thought there were this many strong ones. Where like a 7.5 is actually a down episode, but it was still really good.
No, I'm at 7.5 as well.
Yeah, I did too. Like it speaks to the consistency of TNN. Like you said, 7.5 is a fucking down episode. It's just wild because it's not what everybody says. Everybody thinks the TNN era sucks shit, and it's like it just kind of hasn't.
The cliff must have come at some point where they say "F you" and start pulling stuff, but we'll see.
Right.
For right now, it is not. All right, let's go to Hardcore TV from the February 26, 2000. We kick off with highlights from that opening segment with Rhino versus Sandman as well from TNN. We get our opening animation. Joey's in the nest. He talks about Rhino claiming to be the one that broke Van Damme's leg. He's pushing his buttons and wants a response, and he says RVD will respond sooner than later. Runs down tonight card and then sends us to our opening match, which is Nova and Chris Chetty taking on C.W. Anderson and Wild Bill Wiles, or I should say beautiful Billy Wiles of the Dangerous Alliance. He'll always be Wild Bill to me. Louis Dangerously leads out C-Dub and Wiles and does his shtick on the mic. He shits on the Packers. Of course, we're still in Milwaukee. Says he talked to Ray Rhodes and not Dusty Rhodes, Ray Rhodes, and said Brett Favre is a pill-popping, alcoholic piece of trash, just like the fans.
Where's the
lie? I'll tell you what. Very, very prescient by old Lou.
Where's the lie?
That Brett Favre was a piece of trash. But Ray Rhodes is ahead of the game.
That's my cousin Ray,
one of
baby.
my sons, Ray. He's out there driving Sapphire to the store. Nova and Chetty get a nice little pop as we head out after a break. Nova and Wild Bill going through some chain work until Nova lands a drop kick, follows with an arm drag. Chetty tags in. We get some strikes. Wiles bails out to regroup. C-Dub comes in, decks Chetty with a punch, and Chetty catches C-Dub on a float over, knocks him to the floor with a spin kick. Wiles is back in, backdrops Nova over the top, and he flies into CW with a plancha on the way down. Chetty drills Wiles with a side kick, hammers away, follows with a leg lariat off the top for 2. Chetty lands a punch, but catches a chair to the back from Anderson, and Wiles kicks him down for 2. C-Dub comes in, hits a hammerlock slam, and we hear from Joey that says CW is an Anderson for the new millennium. The new Dangerous Alliance tag a double team to keep Chetty in the soup until he escapes and tags Nova. Nova meets Wiles with a quick flurry of offense, batters Anderson as he comes in as well. Nova hits a sit-out pedigree on CW and then follows with a clothesline to both men. Chetty's up in all 4 brawl until Chetty hits the Amityville Horror on Wiles. Nova follows a senton bomb, but CW breaks up the pin. Nova kicks Wiles, but gets caught on a drop kick. Wiles slingshots him into a super kick from Anderson for 2. Nova recovers, gets the Novocaine, but C-Dub saves again. Chetty gets knocked to the floor by Lou. Lou smacks Nova with his phone, and C-Dub hits the spine buster for a pretty big upset. I'd said a lot of moves, but I actually didn't like this. It was okay. It was sloppy. Some timing issues, mainly from Wiles and Chetty, who both fell a step behind Anderson and Nova. Like, I feel like there's even separation happening within this low card now. Like, I mean, CW's gotten really good, and Nova's excellent, I think. But Chetty's obviously been on the shelf for a while. He's rusty, and Wiles is just a body. So big win for the DA. They needed one. Nova likely deserves better too at this point, I think, than what this is. I think Chetty's an anchor for him. Yep. Low card, hardcore TV fodder. I want to star in 3/4, Jenny.
Yeah, no, I had the same thoughts. Everybody was moving like they were underwater in this match. I'm like,
felt like they were underwater inside a swimming pool filled with the butt of the audience.
Usually CW is better than this. Like this was like a really off match for him.
He's at his best as a single with Wiles at ringside, like flipping guys and taking the stooging. Like Wiles working the tag matches with him definitely hurts.
He's a great wrestler when he's not wrestling, is Bill Wiles.
Yeah.
Beautiful Billy, you mean?
Billy, excuse me.
Yeah, and to your point, Nova definitely deserves better. Like I don't know if we want to. I mean, he's mostly been in tag teams. Maybe give him a singles run.
Yeah, he should be up there with like the Guido Crazy.
Yeah, he can go.
Tajiri, like he could fit right in with those guys.
And I know we probably need some tag teams, so I don't mind that, but not with Chetty. Like this is not it.
Him and Cash was good. Like it is.
Yes, Cash. Why not Cash?
Yeah, they were good together.
And Cash is probably better than Nova for me, but that's a good team. As opposed to whatever the fuck this was, and like you said, they did the moves, right? You called the moves.
Right.
I don't know. There was a lot there, but not much, like in the way of like me enjoying it. So I did the 1 3/4 just for politeness. Maddie?
Politeness 1 3/4. That's the new gentleman's 2.
Yeah.
I went 1.5 stars on it. You guys kind of nailed all my points. Like, it's just, I didn't like the finish either. Like,
No.
why are we having Nova and Chetty lose? Like, it felt like we were just kind of heating them up. They got promo time not that
Right.
long ago, and
No,
now
I feel like they're just trying to start a feud with them and the D. They'll probably have a rematch, I'm sure, and they'll
Probably so.
whatever. It feels like we're just trying to have feuds on Hardcore TV with the Hardcore TV gang, and that's all this was to me. Like, and I guess the DA is going to win at some point too. Like they've lost a fucking ton, so at least if they get a win, it makes them, when they get beat again, like at least they win some matches. They're not just losing every fucking match.
Well, I mean, you can't expect a match with a beautiful Bill or wonderful Wiles, whatever you want to call him this week. You can't expect a team with him to fucking win all the time. So yeah, this was just not much here. This felt like if ECW ran an episode of Worldwide, that's kind of what this felt like. So 1.5 stars for me.
I will say Louis does look a lot like Paul from behind.
He does. He does.
I'm like, what?
He's a method actor. He also hasn't slept for 6 months like Paulie.
Big Willie Wiles getting jiggy with it.
Oh boy.
Highlights of this entire Dreamer, Raven, Francine Impact Player segment from TNN. Joey hypes up the website and magazine. James Vandenberg's promo from the pool. And then we head to the ring as Masato Tanaka is taking on Angel. Interesting match. We return from break. The Baldies are out there with Tanaka, who's ranting in Japanese to fire the crowd up. Angel takes a swing to Tanaka. Tanaka cleans him out and DeVito to get things going. Tanaka hammers away. It's a powerbomb on Angel. As we head to break again, we come back. Tanaka's working over Angel on the floor, nails him with a running chair shot to the head. DeVito comes over and works over Tanaka to allow Angel to regroup. Angel shoves Tanaka back inside. It's a double underhook belly to belly for 2. Angel puts Tanaka on the top rope. DeVito shoves the table in the ring. Angel sets it up and heads up to try a superplex, but Tanaka blocks and counters with a tornado DDT to the edge of the table, and it kind of breaks, but a pretty rough fall. Angel's hurting as Tanaka puts the table in the corner and sends Angel through it with a back suplex for 2. DeVito's back in again. Tanaka no-sells him and slugs him down. Angel clobbers Tanaka from behind as the suplex. DeVito holds up a chair. Tanaka shoots Angel into it and wins clean with a roaring elbow. DeVito attacks with a chair, hits a Uranagi, and then stomps away. Now it's our Born Killers fires up. New Jack's out with his plunda. As Joey says, New Jack just had ankle surgery and he's moving slow thanks to an attack from the Baldies. Jack tosses the can of the ring, but Angel catches him coming in, hammers away. Jack grabs the crutch and heats back up. He smashes Angel with it. Tanaka's in, and he and New Jack put the beat down on the Baldies. Jack grabs a 2x4, smashes Angel in the dick with it, sends him bailing outside. The Baldies keep trying to retreat, but they can't escape. Tanaka puts a trash can on DeVito's head and smacks it with the board, and they stand tall as we fade out. So, look, this is fine, whatever. Tanaka is awesome. And it made New Jack seem a little lame, though, because Tanaka literally destroyed the entire Baldies in 5 minutes on his own. And New Jack has taken months and months and can't ever get a win. So it's a little like, I don't know what the explanation is. Maybe it's like when a shitty team like targets a certain, they play up. Like maybe the Baldies play up for New Jack. I don't know, but Tanaka literally eviscerated the entire team in like 5 minutes, and Jack can't. I guess Grimes isn't here. You could say maybe that helps, but the post match was fine. But this is now. We talk about Raven Dreamer. Okay, this feud's gonna be done. Like I am.
Yes.
I like the Axe. I like the Baldies, but like I'm done with New Jack and the Baldies. So 1 star for me. That.
Now look, Tanaka is certainly above this. Jesus Christ, what are we doing? We're having him wrestle Angel on this fucking episode. Holy hell! I love that the table didn't so much break as it did just give up in this on this match. So that was
like very... Maddie on Life.
Oh well, listen, it is a day that ends in Y. That DDT was real bad. So the match itself, I mean, to your point, he, New Jack was very frail. Maybe it's the ankle, because if you see him walking down those stairs post-match, they literally cut to a wide shot so that they can't show him struggling to walk down those stairs, because he was struggling. But much like this match was struggling. This just was not much. Tanaka is so far above this, and I also think Angel kind of sucks because, like, if Tanaka can't get something good out of you, Tanaka, who has regularly had like a 4-star match with everybody,
his match average is probably 4.25.
right?
Mhm.
And if this, I went 1.5 stars on this. I don't know if I said that. Like, you can only get 1.5 stars out of Tanaka. Like, what the fuck are we doing? So yeah, this was not good, Jenny.
Yeah, I mean, I I honestly do agree with most of that, but I went 2 on it. I think I just liked Tanaka just being super like in the weapons. I think that's what I wanted to see him mess with the weapons. And poor New Jack, yeah, he did not show well on this match, but
No.
Baldies do not deserve to be wrestling Tanaka, but sometimes it's fun, to just go to a lower class and just fucking beat the shit out of them. I feel like he was having a lot of fun doing
Yeah, he
it.
definitely was.
And, so I don't know. I didn't really hate it as much as I probably should have, just because I find him so entertaining. I did the 2.
Like, I think if this match was Tanaka versus Grimes, it would be a lot better.
Yeah, I think so,
Probably
too. Maybe
so.
even DeVito.
Yeah.
But you're right. I seriously don't need to see the feud anymore.
And I hope they don't waste another fucking pay-per-view slot on it either. Like,
Nah.
I don't need a blow off. Like, I'm good. Just
No.
end it on TV.
Yeah.
We don't need a pay-per-view match. All right, best match, I guess, was the Dangerous Alliance. Nova and Chetty.
I had the main event.
Can I go Dreamer Raven versus the Impact players?
Best moment, I went the post-match at the end. New Jack beating up the Baldies, I guess.
I'm gonna go best moment. I'm gonna go with Louis calling Brett Favre a piece of trash.
Okay, I'll go with that too.
Most 2000s, I did go with Ray Rhodes.
Yeah.
Actually, it's probably more late 90s, but stock rising, only Tanaka for me on this episode. That was about it.
Yeah.
Falling, Chetty looked terrible. The Baldies. I'm not gonna put Wiles here because we know he sucks.
New Jack almost fell down the fucking stairs. Can we add him?
New Jack's not going in. 3.5 for me. And the only reason I gave it even a 3.5 was, like, again, they showed some really cool stuff from TNN. So if you didn't see TNN, you get something here, which actually probably raised this even more. But it wasn't like all junk. That stuff was pretty good. So, but this really felt like, I mean, just filler. Like, just they would have been better off just doing a straight fucking recap show to hype something. And that's not this.
Oh,
like,
I would have been pissed off.
Like they would have. I would have. Versus what we saw, like, I think they would have been better served to do an hour-long Dreamer Raven retrospective. Like, show
that I would watch.
New stuff from the new feud. Like, I would have rather seen that than like these matches.
Yeah, I did the 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I went 3. This was real rough. I mean, usually on hardcore TV we get at least like a 2.5 star match, even if it is the low card guys. But I don't know what the fuck happened here. This hoofa, real rough.
Not even Ray Rhodes can save us.
Oofa.
Lambeau Field, baby.
All right, let's go to 3/3/2000 TNN. Last episode we're going to cover tonight. We open with a very intense Mike Awesome backstage. He says Spike Dudley put his manager in the hospital, and now Spike wants a title shot too. And Awesome's going to kick his ass because it's personal, not business, and he'll give him an awesome beating. We get our opening animation, and yet again, here we go, back to this feud. And this felt like it was a blow off, though, the way they did it. And then Spike Dudley challenging Mike Awesome for the ECW World Title. Spike enters with a chair and immediately smashes Awesome with it. Heads up top, barrels a chair to shot to his head. The audio is all fucked up here, so I don't know if it's, again, the dubs, if the Peacock or WWE Network or whatever it was, like, forgot to edit in the fake songs. But we got the weird kind of audio dropping going on that we had a few episodes ago. Jones on the apron. Spike slugs him down. He turns into a mammoth Awesome chair shot. Awesome jabs Spike twice with the chair. Spike's bleeding already. Joey and Joel talk about Judge's trip to the hospital in Fort Lauderdale. It's Awesome is stomping around the ring. It's a hard short arm clothesline. Tries a press slam, but Spike goes to the eyes and falls on top for 1. Awesome throws Spike to the corner, misses a charge. Spike peppers away, follows with a Rana. Spike eats a back elbow on a charge. Awesome chucks him over the top through a table as we go to the break. We come back. Spike takes Awesome off the stage through a table with a bulldog to a big pop. Back inside, Spike goes up top, but Awesome blocks and slams him off and misses a splash. Spike hits the acid drop, but the judge is there to break up the count. Spike stalks around the ring after the judge. He comes back in, but Awesome blocks an acid drop, but it's a huge release German. Joel says, if only Scott Hall could fly that easily, which is a great line. Awesome rattles Spike with 3 sick power bombs, but Spike barely rolls his shoulder up before the 3. Jones feeds the chair into the ring. Awesome sets it up in the corner, drives Spike through it with a running power bomb for the win. Fun stuff as always, but it was definitely a step behind the crazed atmosphere and insanity that they had back in January. This felt like the final nail. It felt like the Saturday Night Event match to the pay-per-view series. That was kind of the finale, right? The ender. You knew this was it. Awesome pinned Spike a lot more easily and a much more emphatically than he had in those, where I feel like he kind of survived those couple. Here, I felt like Spike never really had a chance. This felt like a Spike match from like 6 months ago before he kind of amped up.
Yep.
So Maddie went 3 stars. Still a lot of fun, still very good, but not like this shit from Guilty as Charged and the TV around it.
Yeah, like you said, it's comfortably the worst match they've had, but it's still very good. I went 3 1/4 on it. I mean, just seeing Spike take this shit kicking is super entertaining from Mike Awesome. Just the way he fucking throws him around the ring and chucks him through tables. Like, it's super fun to watch. Like, and the chemistry is there too. I mean, we've seen it a bunch now. So I do think it's interesting that they're blowing off this feud and they ran back Awesome and Tanaka a couple episodes ago when we don't know what Awesome's doing at the pay-per-view.
Right.
Like, we could have saved this for the pay-per-view maybe, because Mike Awesome's big money match got taken out from underneath him. So it's a little weird that they're blowing this stuff off on TV, a TV network they hate.
They might have some plan that we just haven't seen yet, you know?
Right, and maybe they do, but it's very weird to me. Like, this could have been on pay-per-view. You could have run Awesome and Tanaka again on pay-per-view. Hell, a 3-way even, Awesome, Spike, and Tanaka. Just it's.
But at the same time, I'm kind of done with those. I think I'm kind of done with Tanaka Awesome.
Yeah,
I think I'm kind of done with Spike and Awesome. So now, look, if we don't get anything great, if he fights like the fucking Baldies or some shit, like I'll come back to you. But for now, I'm kind of okay with not running those back. Yeah, because I feel like we've gone to that well so much since September, really. Like on, it feels like it's just been either Awesome Tanaka or Awesome Spike outside of that cool RVD moment.
Right. So, I mean, to your point, they probably do have a plan, but it's just to have a big money match taken out from under him to all of a sudden, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing at the pay-per-view. It's just, it's very weird for your world champion, but it is still a great match. That fucking finish was sick. That running powerbomb into the corner, Jesus Christ, just brutal. I don't know how Spike or anybody really would survive that, but he did. So just God bless him. But yeah, 3 1/4 for me, Jenny.
I don't think Mike Awesome should do promos, because literally all he says is, I'm going to kick your ass.
And awesome.
Every
He says the word awesome.
And
there's a reason why he has Jeff Jones with him.
I'm like, just stop. And then Jones is not really that great of a talker, really. So, anyway, and he's in the hospital, I suppose. But I love the bulldog off the stage onto the table. That was awesome. I love, this is dumb and weird, but I noticed it. It's like the move before the finish, Spike, like you said, he barely rolls his shoulder up to kick out of that one. But there was something about it. Like, I don't know. It was so, I don't know. There was something about, all he did was just and just lift his shoulder up. Like, he could barely just move, but he wasn't done yet.
Right.
I don't know. It was so Spike Dudley. Like, it was just a little quirky moment that I noticed that. But I really did like this match as well. I mean, the chemistry is off the charts with these guys. And the finish was amazing. So I did 3 stars as well. Also, I was going to say, we have a little Excel sheet, and we put all of our matches and we put all of our grades, and we have everything on there. And look, JT is watching ahead of me, and so I can see what matches are going to come up. So, but I try not to look at those. I don't want to spoil myself for matches. But I find myself wanting to scroll down and go, what are they doing with Mike Awesome? And then I'm like, don't look at it. Don't look at it.
Don't do it.
I haven't looked, but I've never been so like tempted to look before. because I can't imagine what's next.
Mm.
And it's freaking me out a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. Masato Tanaka's backstage. He's ranting in Japanese. A door opens, and in comes Dawn Marie and says, "Quiet down. I'm trying to concentrate." Concentrate on what? Tanaka answers, but Dawn says, "Learn English before you get in trouble." Like did you see the Diago man? I was trying to figure out what the fuck.
I don't know what the hell she said. I have no idea.
I rewound it like 4 times.
Yeah,
I think it's this Diago man. I think I looked it up. I have to look it again, but I couldn't find anything.
The yellow man? That's what the
is that what it says on there?
caption says.
I don't
oh,
know.
that's worse.
No idea. Curious.
Well, was that like a
George's
thing
dad?
in 2000 or something? It felt like a reference the way she said it.
Mhm.
Like,
Also, that was very racist what I said. I didn't mean it. She said it. I didn't say it. But anyway.
there was an artist, a reggae artist, King Yellowman, in the year 2000. He was a prominent figure in reggae music, known for unique style and overcoming personal challenges, but nothing about him getting in trouble. So I don't know if that's him or not.
Weird.
Let me
A
check.
reggae guy named Yellow Man?
Yeah. There's nothing about Diago man. I don't see anything about Diego man. Like I don't know if anyone knows what that was.
Is there a chance she just misspoke?
Yeah, I mean, who knows what the fuck you're saying?
Yeah.
All right.
She was
So Tanaka grabs her to give her a kiss, and she screams. The door swings open and bangs into Tanaka, and the Impact players crash through and beat him down. And Storm says, "One less foreigner to deal with," and they
Wow.
walk off arm in arm as Tanaka rides. So it looks like maybe something brewing finally for Tanaka outside of the Baldies and the Dudleys and Mike Awesome.
I love that it was Storm who said it. One less foreigner to deal with, said
Yeah,
the Canadian.
That was good. Her saying she needs to concentrate was really funny.
Yeah.
Try to concentrate. Joey and Joel reset the nest. Joel cuts off any jokes before the punchline. Steve Corino and Jack Victor in the ring with Louis Dangerously and fucking Eric Watts.
Fucking Christ.
I'm quitting the podcast.
God damn it.
Eric Watts is back, wearing the old Mid-South heavyweight title. Carino and Victor have cowboy hats on, which is funny. Carino's carried a bull rope. He says Watts probably wants to know why he's here with them. And as a result of some fine booking, he was allowed to handpick Watts as his opponent tonight. And he did it because they're a lot alike. They believe in the same things. They don't believe in tables, the art of getting bashed with a chair, and no way he would want to bleed for the people of Milwaukee. The crowd's chanting, "You suck dick," as Joel says. He won't bother with a joke because Watts wearing that belt is funny enough. And Joel wonders if Bill ever wore Eric's outfit, which is very 2000s. Carino says, back in the old school, if you will, when his daddy, Cowboy Bill, was carrying the fat, overweight, old American dream, they drew sellout houses in Charlotte, New Orleans, Philly, and even Milwaukee. Watts never went against the old school philosophy, but the fans deserve an old school style match, and he'll give it to them. An old-fashioned Texas bull rope match. Joey says that was Dusty's specialty. Joel says it was back in his heyday during the Lincoln administration. Joel then says Lincoln freed the slaves, which Watts is eternally grateful for, as he's the biggest civil rights activist in the U.S. today, after Al Sharpton, which is just out of pocket by Joel. Carino says he'll make Watts bleed, cry, and will drag his pathetic butt to every corner until he yells that Carino's the new American dream. Carino says the only thing saving him from the biggest ass-kicking of his life is that he isn't a piece of crap like the fans here. Joel says Watts used to say, "Let's string him up," and Joey says it was hook him up. It's just awful. Carino says Milwaukee is home to a baseball team so pathetic they're begging to move to New Jersey, and the town's greatest hero was the late Crusher. But each and every one of these fans know the Crusher was a closet homosexual and sexual deviant, just like the fans here. Just way off the fucking rails at this point with Carino. And I don't know if the Brewers moving to Jersey was real or not. The state referee of Wisconsin, H.G. Loke, is here. He cuts him off and says, he's from Milwaukee. He tells Carino to shut the hell up and get going with this match because everyone in Milwaukee knows Carino wouldn't last an hour on these streets. Carino smacks him with a cowbell. Watts and Victory pull up for Carino to smack him with the bell again. They all beat on HC, who's now pouring blood. Carino thanks Lou for the greatest booking, and the fans can call for Dusty all they want, but last week he took that bull to the woods and stretched the ligaments in his knee, and he's finally retired. Carino wants just one favor, for Dusty to come out of retirement one more time, face him in an old school bull rope match, because everyone knows he's a coward and is the real man who killed Jim Crockett Promotions, the man and the reason why WWF almost went bankrupt in 1989. And in one of the greatest wrestling-based digs of all time, says he's also the man that cut the brake lines on Magnum TA's car.
Fuck.
Oh my God.
Fantastic line. Watts is still beating on poor Loke as Carino says the challenge is out there if Dusty's man enough to get his pathetic lisp voice to come fight. And after Carino beats him in his own game and he'll leave him laying in a pool of blood, he wants Dusty to say in his F-word lisp, Carino is the new American dream. Fantastic work from Carino, who's on fire right now. A lot of hype for this match if it comes. Joey apologizes for the slurs. Joel says Carino is living dangerously, so obviously teasing that his match will happen there. Watts is useless, of course. But this is fantastic. And the only thing I can think of that is really close to is the Dudleys' final stretch where they were just like completely on fire, ripping fans and cutting those promos. Like this to me was on that level. And I would argue it could be up there as like one of the best ECW promos like we've seen. Edginess aside, like depending on how you feel that stuff holds up, but the rest is great. And building to him claiming that he just cut the brake lines on Magnum's car is just an awesome line. So this is definitely fantastic, Jenny.
It was unbelievable. At first I was like, oh, okay, he's wearing the cowboy hat or whatever, but he just builds this like wonderfully. And he's so intense, and it should be ridiculous, right? It should be ridiculous. Who is he? He's nobody. He's Steve Carino, and he's talking to Dusty Rhodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
A fucking legend. It should be laughable, but it's not somehow. Somehow it seems like, yeah, I want to see them in a bull rope match for no reason. Besides Carino just being so great at what he does. I was kind of blown away, honestly. Everything works here. I don't know if Dusty's going to answer this call, but I hope he does, Maddie.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best thing Carino has done. And I mean, he's had a lot of good stuff, but this was the type of thing where you can see Carino being like the top heel in this company one day and just putting the company on his back as the top guy and just carrying it like a Shane Douglas type, with these fucking promos. I mean, and that's the thing too, is like this promo starts and I'm like, fuck, Eric Watts is out here.
I know.
He looks like a fucking Power Ranger. He's got the stupid world title around his waist. What are we doing? And then it turns into like just what it turned into. Smash cut to him saying that that Dusty cut the brake lines on Magnum TA's car, and it's like, this is the same fucking segment. It was insane. I mean, that's side note. That's one of the best lines I've ever fucking heard.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it was incredible. Just
an unbelievable insult. And yeah, goddamn. And it would appear that Dusty, assumingly, is going to come back, the number one face in the company at this point, Dusty Rhodes. So that's great. But like, holy shit. Yeah, I'm super and we already knew Carino was good, but this was next level great stuff from him. Just holy shit.
And the bull rope's a perfect match too for them. That's like a great step because Dusty can hide, whatever deficiencies they got to hide for him. Yep, it harkens back to the old school. Carino's become the old school guy, the new American dream. So it's the absolute perfect stipulation.
I love Joey apologizing for Carino afterwards. Like, that was atrocious. Like, what a fucking dick.
Even ECW was like, oh my God.
Clutching my pearls.
Yeah, I mean, he said some rough, especially the F-word thing about Dusty's lip. Like, that was definitely up there. All right. And then it's like everything's so damn lost in this. Like, the friggin' line about Bill Watts being the civil rights law. Like, I mean, that would have been a killer. That was like the fourth best friggin' dig he had.
Yeah.
Right.
Most promos, that would have been the craziest. All right, after break, we get the One Wrestling replay. It's clips from last week where Rhino gored Sandman to the table and Crazy made a save. And that brings us to a classic ECW three-way dance with the mid-card studs with Tajiri, Super Crazy, and of course, the one and only Little Guido, which takes us to this week's Italian lesson of the week. This week's lesson takes us back to the dictionary. And our word of the day is going to be Scumbari.
Oh boy.
Say it again.
Scumbari.
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 Scumbari is an Italian slang term, particularly from southern dialects, meaning disheveled or unkempt in appearance. It can also be used in the phrase non fai scumbari, which means don't embarrass me. So it basically means a fucking slob, this Scumbari, Stugats, fucking walking around here. So I think we all know many Scumbaris. We'll probably be seeing many in Jersey. Wrestling fans in New Jersey are the epitome of Scumbaris.
Yeah.
So there you go. Disheveled, sloppy,
It's a state full
big
of
fat sloppy pig like Will Albano.
It's a state full of them when there isn't a wrestling show going on.
Like Eric Watts.
Eric Watts looks like a big ass Scumbari for sure.
Yeah.
All right, three-way action, I should say. Joey knows Super Crazy stepping up, step into the network. After break, we're underway. Crazy clears out Guido, gets into a series of reversals and counters Jerry until Jerry bails out. Crazy charges, but Guido charges him and then comes off the top, leaps right into a Tajiri kick to the gut. Tajiri mashes Guido with a kick to the head. Guido recovers with a Fujiwara on Crazy. Tajiri stands around and stalks. Tajiri breaks the hold. He bites Guido. Guido pops up. They trade hard chops until Tajiri drop kicks the knee. Tajiri kicks down Crazy and yells to the fans, but walks into a double chop. Guido wants to work together. He goes to the middle rope. Tajiri comes back and nails Crazy with kicks and then grabs Guido off the top, crotches him and kicks him to the floor. Tajiri follows and shoots Guido to the railing. They scrap there until Crazy meets him with an acai. Sal pulls Crazy outside and shoots him to the railing, but misses the Salvalanche and rolls into the crowd. I just created that one. Crazy scales the railing and dives into Sal to a pop. Crazy stands tall in the ring until Tajiri comes in and hooks in the tarantula. Guido nails Super Crazy with a drop kick to break the hold. Barry strikes in the corner, pancakes Crazy on a float over for 2. Tajiri comes over with strikes on Guido, blocks a handspring elbow into a side leg sweep for 2. Tajiri blocks the Maritado, hits a low blow. Crazy gets 2 on a swinging DDT. Crazy eats knees on a quebrada. Tajiri levels Guido with the kick and finishes him off with the brainbuster. We reset, we get a breather, and then Crazy charges. He gets a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Tajiri comes back with a tilt-a-whirl head scissor. Crazy ducks a kick. He knocks Tajiri to the floor, but misses an acai. Tajiri plants him with a kick to the face, follows with a second one. Tajiri spikes Crazy to the railing. As Joel says, anyone that points to the TNN letters on the set deserves a beating. And Joey says maybe he likes rock and bowl. Joel asks if Super Crazy get a bowl of soup with his haircut. Tajiri stomps away in the ring, lands a head kick as the crowd tries to rally Crazy. Tajiri gets a handspring elbow and low drop kick, but Crazy no-sells it. Comes up with a hard lariat. Tajiri floats through a German, gets a Rana, then tries another, but Crazy rolls through for 2. Tajiri tries a leapfrog. Crazy goes low, hits a springboard moonsault, and picks up the win. Red hot as always for these guys. Crowd's rocking. The pace is nonstop, bell to bell. All three have flawless chemistry. Any could win at any time. Right now, Crazy's the hot one, right? So he wins. We've had times where Tajiri won because he was getting the push. Crazy is chasing the network, and he's definitely amping up quite a bit. Picks up a key win in his war. So Jenny went 3.5. This is a great match as always with these dudes, and a very enjoyable piece of business on TNN.
Absolutely, yes. Totally agree. This was amazing. We just always, I don't know. These are just always fun. Tajiri is amazing. Guido always delivers. One of my favorite lines, Mount Graziano has erupted. That was amazing. The pacing is outrageous. They don't know how to do bad matches, these three guys. Like, I don't get tired of this pairing. All three of them in particular. Super Crazy wins. I love that. That was fantastic. I don't know why I was feeling Tajiri on that, but super happy for Super Crazy. And I went 3 3/4, Maddie.
Yeah, I went 3.5. These three guys never disappoint. They can sleepwalk to like a 3.5 star match with each other. It feels like just, incredible pace, and like they do enough stuff in every match, because I mean these three guys have wrestled in the same combo of match like 3,500 times at this point, but like every match has something different in it, whether it's just the moves, the dives are different, there's interference, it's violent. Like they find ways to switch it up every time they go out there to keep it entertaining. And I mean, that's the best thing you could say about this match, is it's fucking entertaining. And it's good to see Crazy get the win too. He kind of deserved it, and it seems like he's maybe being moved up a little bit, which is a good thing to see, because he deserves it with how great he has been for a long time at this point. So yeah, just a fantastic match. So 3.5 for me.
All right. Backstage, Cyrus is ranting to Rhino. Says 3-way dance matches are ratings killers. And then he spots Crazy and 6 Rhino on him. Rhino charges and gores Crazy through a locker. And
What?
Cyrus says nobody stands up to the network. So that was a cool bump for Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It was. It looked cool.
Yeah.
And it definitely seems like we're ramping to a Crazy Rhino feud as the avatars for the network in ECW. Joey and Joel are in the announce. They talk about Cyrus's network power, and then transition to the ongoing Dreamer, Raven, and Francine drama. And then the end of this episode has some clips from the next installment of Hardcore TV, which airs the next day on the 4th. Is a confrontation with Dreamer and Francine, which leads to a tag title match. So we're going to cover that in our next episode. They show the finish of it. So it airs out of order. And from what we talked about with Rocco, it sounds like they had to burn off this shit because they had big stuff coming from ECW Arena. And so they were just trying to get everything out of the can before that. So they kind of front run this to get it in front of the TNN audience. But it definitely spoils the next night. I was very confused when it first came up. I was trying to figure out, like, where the fuck is this from? So, but it didn't feel like the right spot for us to cover it. It feels like leading off Hardcore TV in its proper place. I did factor it into the grade when I did the final grade, but we're not going to cover the actual segment. We'll see if that's a kickoff for next episode.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird ending for us here, a little bit of a cliffhanger. But I went ahead and watched it. So stay tuned to our next episode.
Yeah. We get weird shit like this this is the weirdest one, where they spoil something that happens the next day, but like every now and then it feels like they do some weird fucking thing like this, and I don't know why it happens, why they do it, but it's just very strange that this happens with them sometimes.
Yeah, I really think they were just trying to, like you said, probably get out whatever they had to get out before the taping started airing. So, and I think this wanted the TNN audience to see it because they know not everyone gets Hardcore TV. So they probably needed it to make sense for the next arena show.
Right. That makes sense.
All right. So let's get to our awards. Best match to me was quite obviously the main event.
Yep.
Yes.
Worst match, Awesome Spike, which is still a great match. So.
Yeah, really? Yeah.
Best moment, of course, Steve Corino's promo.
Yes.
Shame on Dusty Rhodes for cutting the brake line.
Come on, Daddy. Most 2000, I went with Scott Hall's Flight of Shoes.
Yeah.
Rising, awesome, Carino, Crazy, Tajiri, Guido, we're all great.
Totally agree.
Falling, clearly, Watts and H.E. Loke had a rough night. Should never changed his name from Tone.
Watts should fall off a cliff.
I went 8.5. We're back to kind of the great episodes of TNN. This to me has like two great matches. The all-time promo from Carino, plus that closing segment. I don't know. Maybe it should be. I'm gonna bump it to 9.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's at least a 9. I mean, it's great stuff. I mean, the only thing it didn't have was maybe like title change or so. I don't know, something big like that. But
I mean,
had everything else.
I went 8.5 on it. I mean, that fucking promo was unbelievable. You had great matches throughout the entire hour, so hard to hate.
Yeah, no, 9 feels right to me. This is unexpectedly great.
Unexpectedly delicious. All right, we'll be back in 2 weeks with 3 more episodes of TV as we're getting toward Living Dangerously with like nothing announced. So we'll see where that goes and how we get there. Hopefully everyone enjoyed this. Be sure to subscribe. Like I said, audio, video. We got all kinds of cool content, especially this time of year. We're very busy with the current day stuff, plus the old school shit always mixed in as well. Continue to live your life very extremely. Stay extreme, and always do the dip. The dips to the dip.
This goes out to all the women in the world, especially her. You know it don't even matter your age, don't even matter your color. Yo, fellas, I ain't forget about y'all. This is for everybody.
Oh, dip, and dip.
Listen to what I'm saying.
One dip.